I've had several people messaging me asking questions about how I go about meal prepping. So I just thought I'd make a video here to kind of just give you like an insight on what I do when I meal prep. So the first thing that I typically do is make kind of just a game plan. So I have my whiteboard back here and I just have like a game plan of what all is on the menu for the week. So some weeks it's a little more structured. I kind of go back and forth with it. Some weeks I'm very structured with like Monday lunch is this and Tuesday blah blah blah, and have my separate containers. And some weeks if I'm crunched for time or I'm just really not sure, I'll just make up a big batch of like ground turkey. I'll make a big like a bunch of chicken breast, make up some vegetables. So it just kind of depends. This week I'm somewhere kind of in between, but I just kind of have a menu of. So like this week on the menu is Sloppy Joe's, shepherd's pie, salsa chicken, the honey apple pork, and sweet potato tacos. So then I'll just have like a list of the vegetables. So we got Brussels sprouts, California blend, and butternut squash. And then my carbs are quinoa and sweet potatoes. So basically then from there I just kind of get creative and just throw things together. So, but the first thing that I do, I always do this first. I don't know why, it's just the first thing that I do. You can do it however you want. But I have all my fruits and vegetables laid out to cut and wash. As far as like cutting the fruits though, I don't typically, get down here, I don't typically cut them just because once you cut them then they tend to go bad faster. But here, let's see here, there we go. So basically I just have a bunch of bowls, so you're just going to need a bunch of bowls, a bunch of containers. You'll notice when you do meal prep, you have a lot of dishes that day, and then you kind of just have your Tupperware to clean the rest of the week, which is a give and take. So basically what I do, so I have my blueberries here, I put them in a bowl. I use Norwex Fresh Produce Wash to wash them, and I do find that when I wash my produce before, at the beginning of the week when I first buy them, they do last a lot longer because the pesticides and everything's off. So there's not all that eating away at your produce. So it's definitely worth it to use that. Plus you're getting rid of all the extra added chemicals that are on there. So I just add a little bit there and then put a little bit of water. And then I'll just kind of let them soak for a little bit, just to kind of let it get everything off. So I'll just dump my strawberries here into a bowl. And especially strawberries, I don't cut. I used to cut them so I could just grab and go, and they don't last nearly as long when you cut them. So, stopped doing that. So, again, you just put them in your bowl, a little bit of wash, and then some water on there. And then, so I'll just have those all kind of sitting out. So I have my apples I'm going to wash, my spinach and kale, and then I already washed my carrots. So, I think that's everything that needs washed for the week. So that's the first thing that I typically do. Okay, so the next thing that I typically do is brown my meat, cook my meat, depending on which kind it is. So just to give you an idea, what I typically use as far as meat is, and I already took it out of here, but it's the Simple Truth from Kroger, the organic brand of the natural chicken breast. And I kind of like the chicken breast tenders just because they're smaller. They don't get as dry, but basically what you want to look for in this is that there's no antibiotics or hormones added. So typically like a cage-free chicken is going to have that. And then I use the Simple Truth. I really like the Simple Truth brand because it's usually a little bit cheaper, but it's still organic. So I use the Simple Truth Kroger brand natural extra lean ground turkey breast. So there's that. So I'm browning that there. And then I also have and I don't typically do ground beef, but I was switching it up a little bit this week. So here I have 100% grass-fed, 90% lean organic ground beef. And then I also just have some tilapia fillets. So I just lay those all out on here. Put my ground beef, ground turkey, if I can get it out of here. Let you see here, there. So, and then just the different spices that I use. I don't really have a set standard that I do here, but for my chicken breast, I would typically do, this is Bragg's brand organic, it's 24 seasons, or herbs and spices seasoning. I really like this one. It's very comparable to the Mrs. Dash original, but it's really good. So, and then typically on my fish, I would do, this is Mrs. Dash salt-free lemon pepper. It's really good for fish. And then, so for ground turkey, it kind of just depends what I plan on using it for. If I'm going to do, like this is for my sweet potato tacos, I have paprika, chili powder, garlic sea salt, and then I have some ground cilantro. It's just plain old ground cilantro. So I'll put that in there. And then if it's just like regular, like for my shepherd's pie, I will do just the either garlic sea salt or the Mrs. Dash original or this organic Bragg's. So I'll just stick those, the chicken and the fish in the oven. I'll brown my meat, and then I'm on to the next. It's driving me insane. 515, somebody call the po-po. I'm going crazy. Think about it. I love myself, no, I don't need anybody else. Hey, I love myself, no, I don't need anybody else. Hey, can't love myself, no, I don't need anybody else. Anytime, day or night, I love me. What hurts the most? So close, and having so much to say. So the next thing that I do when I'm doing my meal prep is usually like my rice, beans, whatever I have on the menu for that week. Right now, basically anything that needs boiled. So right now I have on a huge thing of cauliflower, and that's to make mashed cauliflower, which I'm going to make a video for showing you how to make that, so stay tuned for that also. And then I'm also boiling my eggs, and this will be quinoa. It's just boiling right now. So I just get all of that ready and prepped up there, and I'll put it in little containers depending on how I'm serving it. So that is the next step. So another thing that is on the menu for the week, if I can find my honey in here, is the apple honey pork loin. So that's just a crock pot recipe, so it kind of just is going on the side, and typically that's the first thing I would get ready, but I apparently threw it off today. But what I have here is I have 3 cut up Granny Smith apples, and then cinnamon, organic honey, and I have my pork loin here. So what I'm going to do is I just put a few pieces of the apple at the bottom of your crock pot, and then I stick the pork loin, the whole thing in there, and it's a little too big, but that's fine because once it starts cooking it'll shred up and then you'll be able to get it all closed. Or you can cut it in half. However, mine's frozen right now, so I can't do that, but it'll thaw down and it'll be all good, so we'll be fine. So then I'm just going to put the rest of the apples around it, and they kind of all sink to the bottom, so you just mix it up as it gets going. And then I just kind of spot it right now, but it's about 2 tablespoons of honey. So I just kind of drizzle it over there. Good. And then just a couple sprinkles of cinnamon. And after you make this, you'll learn kind of how you like it more. The flavor, it's not like an overwhelming. The first time I made it, I was a little nervous about the flavor of it, that like apples and meat kind of freaked me out. But it's really good. It's kind of like a glaze type thing on there, so it's really good. So try that, and we'll just leave this cooking. It cooks, if it's a thawed out pork loin, it typically cooks for about 6 to 8 hours on high. So I'll just wait and see. Once it starts to look like it's shredded, then I consider it good. So the next thing that I do, I still have everything boiling on the stove here. is I go to my veggies that need to be roasted. So, secret, I totally cheat, and I bought these from Kroger already pre-cut, but they were on sale. So typically, like, I won't buy the pre-cut because they're pretty much charging you for them to cut it, like major charging you for it. But when they're marked down like this, and I know I'm going to use them right away, then I'll pay extra for that. So I actually got all 3 of these. They were all 3 marked down. And that's typically, like, how I will determine what's even going to be on my menu. Sometimes is, like, what's on sale. So I have some chopped up squash. There's zucchini and yellow squash. And then I have the chopped up, that was already pre-cut too, butternut squash, and then my Brussels sprouts. And I just put them on, oops, and I'm dropping. I just put them on cookie sheets, and I'll split the cookie sheet between the Brussels sprouts and the squash. So basically, I'm just going to roast them. So, and I have stuff falling everywhere. Warning, if you meal prep, it gets really messy, so you can't really care until you're done. Then you can clean your kitchen back up. But it gets real messy because you got a lot going on at once. So what I do is I just take a few tablespoons of coconut oil. And you can either, like, you can pre-melt it and drizzle it over, but I just kind of scoop it onto here. Scoop it. There's a lot of hand washing between too because you're touching on different things. So that's always fun. So scoop a little bit on each. Alright. And then I'm back to this, the Bragg's Organic. You can use garlic sea salt. You can use Mrs. Dash. You can use, I don't know what else I've ever used, but you can use pretty much whatever you want to season them. But I just kind of sprinkle it over here. Doesn't come out very well here. And then I just pop them in the oven. And I don't really have a set time, to be honest with you. I'm the worst cook ever because I don't know, like, the exact recipes. I just kind of judge it. Once they just look like they're, like, the Brussels sprouts will get just a little crispy looking. The squash will start to just, like, look like it's ready. I don't know. You'll just know. You will. I know, I'm a lot of help, right? So, pop those in the oven, and we wait. So we have our fresh fruit and vegetables cut and washed. We have our meat done. We have all of our sides cooked and prepped and put away. And you, my friend, are done. It's the best feeling when you're done because then you're done for the week. So I just put everything in little containers, and it's up to you. This is kind of the part where you can get creative. If you just want to put it in a big bulk container and then, like, kind of serve it as the week goes, or if you want to portion it out into the little divider containers, which I have here. I'll show you. Just a second. Here. These, if you can see, it's dark. So I sometimes put them in here. So, like, I'll put some vegetables down here, a protein and a carb. So it's kind of up to you how you want to do it. I switch, like I said, from week to week, just going back and forth with how I do it. But you are done. So that's the hardest part of the week is over with. The worst part after this is the dishes, because let me tell you, they are piled up. But then you don't really have many dishes to do during the week, so that's good too. So good luck. Let me know if you have any questions with this. Don't get overwhelmed. If this really does overwhelm you, which it did me. Just start with just cutting up your fruit and vegetables and get them washed and ready for the week. Just start there. Then, if you feel comfortable with that, add in just brown up your meat and cook up your chicken. Be done there. You can just slowly add on. Don't overwhelm yourself starting big. Just start small and go from there. So, please let me know if you have any questions. I hope this was helpful.